We decide with Vera and Odyssée, who are both there. Odyssée will work a little bit on the graphic part and Vera on the conceptual part. And we decide to work on the situation of the yet situation of the point of ecology. And we will work on this connection in between typography in mobility and all this, and this topic, with a very important topic today, in the way of information design. It's a way of how can we bring in visibility problems who are very complex. And so idea is really to enter a little bit more in this fact of ecology, and to say in the moment many persons and many kind of categories of institutions speak about ecology, but they speak it in very different way, and they have other goals. And how can we bring in visibility the goal, the difference in between the goal of a banker who say, I support ecology, and militant who say, I will work on a reduction of the pollution and all this. So how can we bring in visibility all the different speech, the different meaning about ecology in the moment? And this is a very complex work for 5 days, but I'm sure we will find solutions to come on the goal. Vera, I let you.
Okay. Yeah, so the idea is, and maybe we have to want to explain this. We are involved in a biennial project in Vienna. It's an exhibition on the question of climate care. So to say, we are starting to make an analysis of the actual situation, and we are working on projections and on new ideas of climate activities to save the climate, and to work on questions of sustainability. And our idea for the workshop was to make a kind of cartography of concepts and of aesthetics of these different engagements. And the different entities have different interests. So the economical fields, for example, banks, investments, and so on, are investing in ecological reasons, because it's a very stable and positive connotated investment in this moment. So before it was more buildings and investment in pharmacy. And in this moment, ecology is one of the main topics of investments. But not all of them are really interested in ecological and sustainable goals, but to provide their clients with positive values. So our question is, for example, how do they communicate? And this is the question on you as typographers and designers. How do they communicate their engagement in ecological questions? An NGO like Greenpeace, who has now 40 years of work, how they started to communicate and how they are communicating now. What are the aesthetics they have chosen in the beginning? It's maybe a color code, it's a special typography, and how do they are they still on the same logic, or has there been a modernization, or how do they position themselves? Then you have, for example, the movement Fridays for Future. How they are communicating, in which channels, in which way, and in which aesthetics. So the idea would be, at the end of the week, we have a kind of cartography of these different concepts, and Ruedi will later explain on what would be our frame to present this. Are you still there, Ruedi? No. So I continue.
He's coming.
So now would be the moment, Ruedi, to maybe say how we would like to present this cartography at.
Odyssey is just in way to make a scan and to give you the regals. The idea is we have a table of 90 centimeters to 180 centimeters, and we have a projector. And this projector project on this table. So the idea is to work on a film, a typographical diagram film, who will explain the situation of ecology in the past and today. So it's really, we make information design. Huh?
But Ruedi, it can be, it's a film or it's an animation, no? It's
an animation, sure. Animation. A typographical animation about with as base information design.
So it can be that, for example, one will work on the banks and will make a kind of historical narration, or will make a cartography of interrelation of different international banks, or so then we have different cartographies who could be parallel, could be overlaying, could be in one cartography. So we can start, and when I say cartography, it can also be a matrix. Huh? I call it cartography in the sense of Philip Rikacevic, which means a kind of drawing of relation. It can be a matrix, a diagram, a cartography.
So the way that I propose you work is, at first each of you will choose one organization, and this organization could be a Greenpeace, could be a bank, could be a government, and we will analyze what is the evolution of the vocabulary they use in the last 10 years about ecological and environmental problems. So we will have organization like Greenpeace, who has a very long history of manifestation, and we have, I think, we can speak about Davos.
World Economic Forum.
Yeah, who absolutely enter in this topic only these last years. And what are the differences between the vocabulary each groups use? This will be a part of our work.
Yeah, the spoken and the visual vocabulary.
Yeah, absolutely. Is this something? Is this clear for you? What I just say? Because this base is very important. Matthias, did you understand it?
We are supposed to make a research about how the thinking of some institutions have changed over the last 10 years about the ecological views, how they change their vocabulary, and
Yeah.
they
And
can be the ecological institution like Greenpeace, but it can also be the institution like governmental institution who actually do not care much about environment.
yeah, we will use institutions who, in the moment, are positive.
Positive, okay.
Yeah. Um, because the point is very interesting because I don't know if it is the same in Poland, but in the moment in France, every person speak positive about ecology. There are really one little minority who don't do it, but they don't speak about the same elements. They say, yes, we have to change. Every organization say, yes, we have a big change before us, but the way and what they will change is absolutely different. And this is the point who we will try to find intelligibility or legibility to understand what are the difference and to with the vocabulary try to find out what are common elements in between a bank and a group of ecologists and what are differences.
Last question: should this institution be familiar with the place we are? For example, I'm in Poland, so I should know about the institution in Poland.
I think will be interesting if it is international institutions, if we are agree.
Okay.
So they can have a point in Poland, but we try to speak about, because the points are similar everywhere in the world.
I think the interesting, as Ruedi said, it can have a movement in Poland, which is also connected with an international movement. It can have an local expression, but the idea is to have a look on international movements or organizations. And as you said, the idea is really, as for designers, to look on how does they have changed their campaigns? What are the main slogans and how these slogans are represented? So has there been a shift between first zero carbon to now the Paris Protocol? What are the main focus and arguments, and how are they transmitting this? So I don't know. Does a bank, which normally has always blue colors, change now to come to green colors, and so on? So to have a kind of